sometimes people might not even consider other places they're playing at or other places they might be playing against. Uh, a lot of people that play in the United States, most people's home region, my home region, they might not even just consider how the game is played in other parts of the world. This is a global game. The game has many, 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 many players we can even count, and like the different regions we can just go and overplay. People are playing all over the world, and the three main regions that people know about, or actually there's four, but the four main regions people know about and they know they play against, but they don't really think about or consider it on who might be the best or which is the most competitive region. We obviously have the U.S. That's a given. We have anywhere in Europe. I mean, they have the U.K. They have like Switzerland, Denmark, Germany, Great Britain. I just put like all those as Europe as that one like continent. So let's just say that we have a lot of since Korea is very competitively in like esports games and also Pokemon. I decided to make them their one too, and Japan obviously that one too. If we look at, let's just go with the facts that we have right now on the Global Link Battle Spot. We could see the U.S. in doubles. If we, I'll try to stay at VGC doubles. I could go, or I'll start with singles since I think singles is like, yeah, it's competitive in a sense, but like we could really go more in depth on VGC doubles. But in singles, if we look at the top three ratings right now in the U.S., we have the guy in first. The first guy, it's 1908. That's his top rating. Second is 1864, and then third is 1787. So we can see how, I guess, anywhere 18, high 17, low 19 is average. If we go to Korea, the guy in first has a 1941 rating, 1935, and a 1926. So the really mid 1900 ratings are common in Korea. So honestly, right there, singles in USA, they're like bottom like level, and I even looked at the UK. It's really not better in USA either. They're around 4, and then Japan tops them all, probably because they have the most. They could have more players on like Global Link Battle Spot right now, currently, and more competitive. They care more. They play differently more. Who knows? But they have their first guy is 2130. Second is 2093, and then third is 2085. You could argue, yeah, Oras just came out. People are still like playing they're breeding. A lot of people are playing on Battle Spot or whatever. But let's be honest, a lot of people we generally see will be either Japan, Korea, or we'll say the region it's from or where they're at. But we can honestly see right there, Japan number 1 in singles, hands down. And second is Korea, USA. So obviously, right there, you can just make the case. Okay, if we look at singles, Japan's like, I guess they're more competitive. They're better than us. They have the straight region, just outright right there. But we can also argue. Let's just go to doubles. If we look on the Global Link, which the Global Link doubles and VGC kind of coincide with each other. It's not the actual. You're not playing an actual tournament in Battle Spot doubles, but you get prepared very well because you will see Pokemon from VGC doubles and the Battle Spot, and that's how people practice. It's the best way to practice, the only way. But the best practice also is if you go to an actual VGC event, because that's where you're really going to see. You're going to play in a real setting, and I've gone over that before. But the rated doubles in Korea kind of don't stack as high as in USA. So I guess people in the US care a little bit more about the VGC doubles, and they really like that. In Korea, the guy in first is 1864 or 63. Second is 1753 and 1729. So there's a big gap in Korea. It's like the guy in first and the guy in second are like, there's a big gap in the guy. And people in Korea, I guess they care obviously maybe more about singles. Who knows? In the US, the top-rated player in doubles has an 1881 rating. The second is 1828, and the third is 1825. That's actually considerably okay. I wouldn't say it's above average. It's pretty good. But if we go to, it's like mid-18. But if we go to Japan, 1971 is the highest rating 1960 second and 1953 third. So the mid-high 19s is the best Japanese doubles. It's obviously lower than in singles, so I guess more people are playing singles. It could be easier, it's quicker, but a lot of people are caring more about doubles in the USA. And if we look at the last year's Masters 2014 Division Worlds, I use Masters because you could argue, yeah, all of the junior senior division, those are competitive too, but I use Masters because those ones, let's be a little bit honest. Like, we care about the Masters. That's the one you care about. More people play, more people are really competitive on that. I'm not taking anything away from the junior and senior division guys. Those guys are probably better than me, hands down. But Masters is obviously the highest competitive spot. Now, last year, if we look at the top 16, I could have gone 32, but 16, it felt a little bit more fair to me. There was only one guy from Australia, or it could have been Austria. It said AU. I would have to guess Australia. He got top 16. Two Japanese players made it into top 16. 6 guys from the UK, and 6 from the US. So like I said, US care about more VGC doubles. And yeah, you could say the 16 in the top 8 could have got weeded out through luck. And, but for the most part, the teams look pretty similar. You had like a rain team, you had sand teams, or you had a basic standard team and people were playing at. And then there's only one guy from Korea. And we all know who that was, Sejun Park. He won. He won the whole Worlds. He was the only guy from his region, the top 16, to actually get to the top 8 and eventually win it. But crazy thing about Sejun Park, a lot of people might not know about him, but maybe they did after they figured out they saw he won with his Pachirisu. He's been in the top 8 in the VGC 2012 World Championships and the top 8 in VGC 2013 Championships. Like, so this guy's just a common guy you see. Even people like Cybertron and Alex or Gloza, they will say, "Oh yeah, Sejun Park, yeah, he was there last year. He's here this year. We're always going to see him. I'm always ready to see what he's got." And then and people had a lot of compassion for him. That out of those past 3 years, it could have been mentioned in interviews that the past 2 years when he tried in 2013, 2012, he didn't get it, but this last year he won, and in probably the most impressive fashion, in winning with the Pachirisu and his whole great, amazing team to win the World Championships. Everyone gave him so much respect for that. But if you really look at it, he's also been there. He got taken out by Ryusuke Kosugi, if I say it right. That was in 2012. That was in the very first top 8. And in 2013, or actually that was 2013, in 2012, Sejun got taken out by Wolf Glick as a 5th seed, and Wolf was the 2 seed who eventually lost to Ray Rizzo in the finals. So he's lost to US and Japanese. So you can see some of the rivalries coming out of here from all the competitive regions. Like I said, it's like Korea, US, and Japan. So, and a lot of these people in the US, like Cybertron, they even talk, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing Sejun Park. It was great to meet up with him. We talk a lot." And then they could talk about some other Japanese players, like, "Oh yeah, I like these guys too. They're really cool people." And the sense of community they got is really nice too. That's why a lot of people like the VGC. But when you look at what could be the most competitive region, you would have to argue, I guess you could say US in a sense, because the past 3 years on 2012, 2013, most of the people were from the US. Ray Rizzo from the US won it in 2012. Arash Omani won in 2013. He's from Italy. So, I guess you could still say European, I guess, at that scene too. But there are a lot more Japanese players, US players in that 2013. And in this 2014, obviously there are more US and more than Japanese, and that one Korean, Sejun Park, that won. So it's really mixed on what could be most competitive. But as I said back with the battle spot, obviously Japan has all the top spots in the battle spot, so they're wrecking the online right now. So you could make the sense, okay, maybe in battle spot Japan has it beat, and then it's a tie between US and Korea. But if you go to VGC, you're going to see a lot of US guys that know really what they're doing in World Championships in the US. There's a lot of the competitive nationals is very competitive. Who knows how the Japanese nationals go to see who makes it into Worlds. But obviously you see people like Sejun Park, probably doubtably the best Korean VGC player in the world. Obviously being there from the past 2 years before 2014 and winning. So he's and maybe one of even the best players in the whole world after what he's done before. I mentioned Ray Rizzo being the best because he won 3 in a row. But Sejun Park, he's just right under there. So you really just always got to think. It's not where it's not where you live. You also got to just feel like, hey, I'm not the only one. I know I'm here, but there's many people around there. They're trying to achieve the same common goal of winning that eventual title. If you're sitting at home right now, like me, on your chair looking through your VGC team, like, oh, I can make this VGC regional, and hey, what if you end up getting first place? You have to go to nationals maybe at that point. What if you win nationals? You're in worlds. Next thing you know, you're in the top 8 against other people around the world that achieved that same thing. So, and people you've never even met before, maybe from different parts of the country you never even thought about going to or seeing. They might not even speak the same language. It's a crazy world that we live in, and who knows? You could eventually be the best, and you can change some of the stats that I've just explained about which competitive region is the most competitive.